Hey everyone! Welcome back to Brain Psyche. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into some of the most famous movies inspired by real-life crimes. These films not only tell compelling stories, but they also bring to light the dark and twisted side of human nature. Whether it's the rise and fall of criminals, the pursuit of justice, or the moral dilemmas faced by those involved, these films are a captivating reflection of real events. So, if you're ready to explore, let's get started. Number 1. Goodfellas, 1990. Directed by Martin Scorsese, Goodfellas is based on the true story of Henry Hill, a young man who rises through the ranks of the Mafia. It depicts the world of organized crime, focusing on betrayal, loyalty, and the violent consequences of criminal life. The movie shows Hill's involvement with mobsters like James "Jimmy" Conway and Tommy DeVito and his eventual downfall when he turns informant. Number 2. The Godfather, 1972. Directed by Francis Ford Coppola, this epic crime drama is based on Mario Puzo's novel. It tells the story of the Corleone family, a powerful mafia family led by Don Vito Corleone, Marlon Brando. Though not based on a specific real-life crime, the film is heavily inspired by the stories of real mafia families, exploring themes of loyalty, power, and crime over generations. Number 3. Blow, 2001. This film stars Johnny Depp as George Jung, who was one of the biggest drug traffickers in the 1970s and 1980s. Blow follows Jung's rise in the drug trade, especially his relationship with the Colombian cartel, and his eventual fall as law enforcement closes in. The film portrays his life of excess, loss, and betrayal. Number 4. Catch Me If You Can, 2002. Directed by Steven Spielberg, Catch Me If You Can is based on the true story of Frank Abagnale Jr., played by Leonardo DiCaprio, a con artist who, before his 21st birthday, successfully impersonated an airline pilot, doctor, and lawyer, while forging millions of dollars in checks. The film focuses on his cat-and-mouse game with FBI agent Carl Hanratty, Tom Hanks, who eventually catches him. Number 5. American Gangster, 2007. Starring Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe, this film tells the story of Frank Lucas, a heroin dealer in Harlem during the 1970s. The movie explores Lucas' rise to power, his efforts to distribute pure heroin, and his eventual confrontation with Detective Richie Roberts, Crowe. It's a compelling look at both the criminal underworld and the police efforts to bring it down. Number 6. The Silk Road, 2021. This movie is about the creation of the Silk Road website, an online black market that allowed users to anonymously buy and sell illegal goods like drugs. The story centers on the FBI's pursuit of Ross Ulbricht, who ran the site, and the eventual legal battle that led to his arrest and conviction. Number 7. Donnie Brasco, 1997. Based on the true story of an undercover FBI agent, played by Johnny Depp, who infiltrates the Mafia in the 1970s, Donnie Brasco explores the moral and psychological toll of living as a mole in a dangerous criminal organization. The agent, under the alias Donnie Brasco, befriends gangster Lefty Ruggiero, Al Pacino, only to become increasingly entangled in his criminal world. Number 8. Casino, 1995. Directed by Martin Scorsese, Casino is based on the true story of the rise and fall of the Las Vegas casino industry in the 1970s, focusing on the operation of the Tangiers Casino. The film explores the corruption, betrayal, and mafia influence in the casino world, following the lives of casino manager Sam Ace Rothstein, Robert De Niro, gangster Nicky Santoro, Joe Pesci, and the latter's wife, Ginger McKenna, Sharon Stone. Number 9. The Boston Strangler, 1968. This film is based on the true story of Albert DeSalvo, who confessed to being the notorious Boston Strangler responsible for the murders of 13 women in Boston in the early 1960s. The movie focuses on the investigation and the psychological aspects of the case, raising questions about whether DeSalvo was indeed the real killer. Number 10. The Wolf of Wall Street, 2013. Directed by Martin Scorsese and starring Leonardo DiCaprio, this film is based on the memoir of Jordan Belfort, a stockbroker who defrauded investors and led a life of excess, luxury, and crime. The movie depicts Belfort's rise in the financial world, his fraudulent schemes, and his eventual downfall when he's arrested for securities fraud and money laundering. Number 11. Argo, 2012. Directed by Ben Affleck, Argo is based on the true story of a CIA mission to rescue 6 Americans who were trapped in Iran during the 1979 hostage crisis. The CIA, led by Tony Mendez, played by Affleck, created a fake Hollywood film project as cover to extract the diplomats. It's a thrilling mix of espionage, deception, and high-stakes action. Number 12. The Pursuit of Happiness, 2006. This film stars Will Smith as Chris Gardner, a man struggling with homelessness and financial difficulties while trying to provide for his young son. Though it's not based on crime per se, the story reflects Gardner's hardships, including his involvement in some dubious business practices in his early life before he ultimately turns his life around. Number 13. 12 Angry Men, 1957. While 12 Angry Men isn't based on a real crime, it depicts the deliberations of a jury deciding the fate of a young man accused of murder. The film explores themes of prejudice, justice, and the dynamics of group decision-making, with the central crime being the alleged murder of a father. Number 14. Monster, 2003. This film stars Charlize Theron as Eileen Wuornos, a prostitute who was convicted of killing 6 men in Florida in the 1980s. The movie portrays her troubled life, mental state, and the crimes she committed, while also showing her relationship with her love Tyria Moore, Christina Ricci. Monster gives a deep look at how her personal history led to violent crimes. Number 15. The Untouchables, 1987. Directed by Brian De Palma, this film tells the true story of the law enforcement efforts to bring down Al Capone, Robert De Niro, a powerful gangster during the Prohibition era. Kevin Costner stars as Elliot Ness, the FBI agent tasked with taking down Capone, while Sean Connery plays a tough cop who helps him in his quest for justice. Number 16. Zodiac, 2007. Directed by David Fincher, Zodiac is based on the true story of the Zodiac Killer, a serial killer who terrorized the San Francisco Bay Area in the late 1960s and early 1970s. The film follows journalists and police officers as they try to track down the elusive killer, whose identity remains a mystery. It's a chilling portrayal of an unsolved case that has captivated the public for decades. Number 17. The Great Escape, 1963. Although not a traditional crime movie, The Great Escape is based on the true story of Allied prisoners of war who escaped from a German POW camp during World War II. The escape was a remarkable act of defiance and planning that involved criminal acts like digging tunnels and forging documents. Number 18. The Insider, 1999. Starring Russell Crowe and Al Pacino, The Insider is based on the true story of Jeffrey Wigand, a tobacco industry insider who exposed the industry's knowledge of the dangers of smoking. The film follows his moral dilemma, the corporate cover-up, and the media's role in revealing the truth. Number 19. Casino Royale, 2006. This James Bond film, based on Ian Fleming's novel, doesn't depict real-life crimes but is rooted in espionage and international criminal organizations. Bond, Daniel Craig, is assigned to take down La Cifra, a financier of terrorist organizations, in a high-stakes poker game. The film deals with corruption, terrorism, and the dark side of global finance. Number 20. Capote, 2005. This biographical film focuses on Truman Capote's writing of In Cold Blood, his non-fiction book about the brutal murders of a Kansas family in 1959. The movie highlights Capote's emotional and professional struggles as he investigates the case and forms a relationship with the 2 men convicted of the crime.
Well, there you have it, a look into some of the most intense and gripping films based on real-life crimes. From mobsters to con artists, and from the pursuit of justice to the criminals who walked free, these stories remind us how truth can be stranger, and often darker, than fiction. If you found these stories intriguing and want to dive deeper into more psychological explorations, and don't forget to subscribe to Brain Psyche for more fascinating content. We've got a lot more coming your way. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay curious, stay thoughtful, and keep exploring the mysteries of the mind. See you in the next video.